Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each of those cards representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Gemini, representing the first house, all the way through to the 12th house being represented by Taurus. Once we get through that, we'll actually pull an oracle card for some additional insight as well. And as far as the main decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Tarot of the New Vision, and for the Oracle card, we'll be using the Wisdom of the Oracle. But we're actually going to start the reading off a row nose astrology ICM in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have the South Node. So the South Node is still in Virgo currently, and for you guys, that's your 4th house of home, roots, family. So you could be seeing some release around that area of life. We have Capricorn. So for you guys, Capricorn is actually your 8th house of death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. Astrologically speaking, it's a little quiet in that area of the zodiac right now, but you could still feel a bit of a focus on that this month. And we have 11. So 11th house energy for you guys is Aries, and contrary to what we were just saying about the 8th house, there's plenty of energy going on there. We have the sun there, of course, until the 20th of April. We'll have a new moon in Aries on the 17th of April. Let's see, we'll have Mercury getting into Aries around the middle of the month. We'll have Mars getting in there on the 9th of April, and that's a sign of rulership. And then, of course, we've had Neptune and Saturn there for a while as well. So, again, plenty of energy going through your 11th house, and in general, 11th house points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. So keep all that in mind as we go through main spreads. First house energy, which points to personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the Two of Cups. So this is Cancerian energy here. So yeah, this could just be saying that you might have a really strong meeting of the minds with someone this month. Now, of course, that could play out romantically, as most people tend to think of when they see the artwork in this card. But it could just be any kind of partnership, really. So it could be at work, where you find like you have someone that you see eye to eye with. Could just be casual friendships, you name it. But either way, it looks like that's something that's going to be on the horizon for you guys this month. All right, and the second house, which points to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here, which we were talking about when we mentioned this health node as well. But seeing this here could just be saying that you might be teaching yourself some new skills, which obviously would be advantageous for you in the long run. But yeah, I feel like that's primarily what I'm getting from this. Could just be saying something that you're primarily focusing on doing something more of a self-taught way will actually start to pay off for you financially. If not this month, you'll at least start to see tangible evidence that it can pan out in a positive way in the long run. All right, in the third house, which generally points to communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the Page of Pentacles. So yeah, so seeing this here could just be saying that maybe immediately and directly connected to the Eight of Pentacles energy. Maybe this is a goal that you're working toward, right? So, for example, maybe you've already been in discussions with someone that, hey, if you learn this skill, we'd love to bring you on board, right? So that could be part of what's been motivating you to push through that. But either way, I feel like this is saying, at the very least, you might have come away in a recent conversation feeling inspired to do something and try something a little bit off the beaten path. So that could be what's fueling you at the current moment. And speaking of off the beaten path, for the 4th house energy, we have the Fool. So in general, 4th house points to home roots, family. So yeah, for some of you, this could just be saying maybe you want to find yourselves in a new environment, right? You might be considering moving or possibly even just making some changes to your home environment. And for some of you, might be more of a sudden thought that came to mind where you wanted to do so. So it could just be one of those things. It's saying that this wasn't something that was beneath the surface for a number of months, and now you're finally taking action on it. I think this is saying that it could be something that might strike you a little bit more suddenly. All right. In the 5th house, which generally points to romance, creativity, and children, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, so to me, this looks like you could be having some kind of an epiphany this month. Now, as far as fifth house energy, we are going to have that full moon in Libra pretty much right at the start of April, so April 1st. So yeah, could just be pointing right to that, where that could be the time when you get this epiphany. But if not, even if it takes a little bit later into the month, it looks like something is going to strike you that's going to actually help you when it comes to your creativity this month, and possibly around romance as well. In the sixth house, which generally points to health, work, and daily routines, we have the Two of Wands. So this is an Aries energy here, and particularly the first 10 degrees of Aries. So at the time of recording this, we're already in that energy. So for some of you, could be feeling this already coming into the month of April. But either way, I feel like this is saying that there is a desire on your part to have a fresh start somewhere, right? So like I said, maybe you're teaching yourself some new skills. Maybe you've had discussions with people like, hey, we'd like to bring you on board for XYZ. So maybe you're trying to see behind the scenes, like, okay, if I do accept that offer, would I be able to pull it off? What would I need to do to be able to successfully do it? Whatever the case may be, it looks like you're definitely interested in taking some new paths this month. All right. In the seventh house, which points to partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have the Four of Wands. So more Aries energy here. This is definitely an energy of has like a Jupiter influence to it, where we see the expansion, the luck, the happiness. So yeah, looks like for some of you could be solidifying some commitments. Now, of course, like we said, it almost seems unavoidable for some of you that yes, it could be a romantic connection, right? Given the Two of Cups in the first house and this. But again, like I said, it could just be partnerships in general. But it looks like you will be solidifying something this month. Or at the very least, I feel like you'll be very sure that yes, what I'm working on here will stand the test of time. All right, so for the eighth house, which points to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have the Five of Pentacles. So, I mean, this is Taurus energy here. So, for some of you, might feel like you might have taken somewhat of a loss in that area of life. So, for some of you, again, with Pentacle energy, right, the fact that we mentioned that eighth house energy for you guys is Capricorn, which could definitely be related to finances and careers and stuff like that. The most basic way this could come across, right, which we could use a tangible example that would be relatable in today's times, right, is let's say you made investments in the market or something like that and they're tanking right now, right? So like, okay, definitely took a bit of a loss there, right? But I mean, given the surrounding cards, looks like you'd be able to recover from it just fine, right? Like they usually say, don't invest what you can't afford to lose to begin with, right? So I don't feel like this is saying you're going to be bankrupt by any means, but it could just be one of those things where you're like, okay, maybe something I've invested in isn't exactly panning out the way I hoped, right? And, there's also with this energy as well, it's more of a transitory thing too, which is to say that, okay, yeah, it might not be paying off in a moment, but you don't necessarily have to automatically abandon ship because of that, right? Could just be saying you're going through a bit of a rough stretch and things will start to improve over time, but that's going to be something that you'd have to weigh out on your own. All right. In the ninth house, which points to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So more Virgo energy here. And yeah, so this is, to me, given that it points to those areas of life, I feel like this is saying that for some of you, maybe this was one of those things where you might have viewed, when it comes to finances especially, you might have viewed things as an either or, right? So what always stands out to me with the Nine of Pentacles is we see one hand leaning on the Six Pentacles, right? And then the bird on the other side with the Three Pentacles. So to me, that represents this is, hey, the safer, more stable, promised path. And then this is the one that allows you more freedom, but there's more risk involved, right? And might not be as much immediate payoff or as much consistent, stable payoff from that path. And for some of you, might have felt like it was always an either or proposition, right? It's like, all right, either I give up some freedom for the stability, or I go with the freedom and don't have the stability. But I feel like this is saying now you're starting to see that there is a way to get a little of both. All right. In the 10th house, which points to career and social status, we have the Devil. So this is more Capricorn energy here, actually. And for you guys, your 10th house of career is Pisces. So, I mean, I will say you definitely had some heavier energies going through there for a while. And for some of you, given that for example, Saturn and Neptune are in such early degrees of Aries. For some of you, they might still be sitting in your 10th house. But either way, this could just be saying that there might have been this really obsessive energy that you had that you felt like you couldn't break free from when it came to your career. Now, whether that was you pushing yourselves or feeling like you were being pushed from another source is going to depend from person to person. But yeah, I feel like this is saying that you feel like there's this something still lingering. Now, I feel like you could probably figure out if you could break free from it or not, but at least in the current moment, at the very least, it seems to be in your awareness that this is a situation that you've been dealing with. All right, and for the 11th house, which we saw come up with the dice as well, we have the Death card. So 11th house points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, and to see this here could just be saying that maybe you're shifting some things now. Given what we were talking about with the 9th house with beliefs, right, I feel like this could be one of those things where it's more of you might be letting go of belief around certain things. Again, like I said, for a lot of you, I feel like it's more of a financial thing in that regard. But either way, could just be saying that there's some release there, and this seems to coincide with some of the energy we're seeing here, right? With the talked about the Eight of Pentacles, which is almost like an apprentice energy. We see the Page here, the Ace there, the Two of Wands. So there does seem the Fool, for that matter, too, right? There seems to be this energy of pursuing something fresh, something new. So usually with that, you do tend to leave something else behind. So that could be what you're experiencing there. All right, and for the 12th house, which in general points to spirituality, blind spots, mental health, we have the Eight of Wands. So yeah, so seeing this here, this is a Sagittarius energy, but usually this is an energy of quick movement, things being aligned, right, a lot of communication. So seeing this in your 12th house, you'd just be saying that you might have a lot of ideas buzzing through your minds at this moment, and it could be due to the fact that Uranus is currently wrapping up its transit through your 12th house, and it's actually going to be moving into your sign on the 25th of April. So that could be what's really causing all these thoughts to fire in your mind right now. But overall, I would say this is a bit of a lighter energy to have in your 12th house. It's just a matter of keeping all the thoughts organized, which the Eight of Wands does tend to point to things moving in the same direction. But we'll see what the... actually, let's look at the bottom of the deck, too, before we get to the Oracle card. Bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. So this is the major arcana card for Taurus. And of course, there's going to be plenty of energy. We were talking about the energy in Aries, but then there's going to be plenty of energy moving into Taurus as well, as far as the Sun moving in there the 20th. Venus will be there from the 30th of March to the 24th of April. There will be a new moon, of course. We mentioned, like I said, Uranus moving out of Taurus into your sign. So that could be partly what's at play here, just the fact that there's going to be so much energy coursing through Taurus as is, and that could be why this is showing up at the bottom of the deck, just pointing to the timeline in general. But beyond that, this could just be saying, like I said, going along with what we were talking about with your beliefs, right? Maybe you're weighing the more traditional versus unconventional and trying to figure out what fits best for you this month. And like I said, the fact that where maybe you didn't necessarily think the two could coexist in any way, now you might find that there is a way to really have a little bit of both. But we'll see what the Oracle card adds to the mix. So like I mentioned, we're going to be pulling a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. I'm just going to give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. Okay, we'll take this card here. Let me get this out of the way. And we'll see what card you guys got. Alright, we have a Loyal Heart. There's the artwork, and the number is 35. So definitely a good energy to see, given that we saw the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands, but we'll see what it says in the book. Alright, essential meanings says fidelity, loyalty, devotion. The Oracle's message: evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove they are faithful to you, and you in turn will commit fully to them. There is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected, and divinely directed. So yeah, so definitely a positive message there, right? Especially if you do feel like you're kind of in between phases here and you're considering a new path, right? And there, to me, that says that there are some people in your circle that you could rely on as you go through those changes. All right. The relationship message says your partnerships, friendships, and romantic relationships all have many qualities in common right now. Honest devotion, faithfulness, and a loyal heart are being shown to you. Are you as loyal in return? Now is the time for heartfelt commitments and trusting in divine protection. So that message there was definitely interesting about the timing part of it, right? Because like we said, seeing the Two of Cups in the first house, along with that Four of Wands in the seventh house, and even that Ace of Swords energy, which could point to new energy, could just be saying that, yeah, maybe if you've come out of a cycle where you haven't necessarily been in a type of connection like that, now you might be reconsidering doing so. All right, and the prosperity message says your long-term loyalty to your goals is becoming evident in the world of conditions where your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans, while remaining flexible and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. This is a time for a joyful celebration of spirit, your manifesting partner. So yeah, reading that message too definitely made me think of there are some interesting shifts that could be accounting for this too, astrologically speaking. So like I said, you guys had some heavier energy in your 10th house of career, as far as you had Saturn there, Neptune there, right, which could have been causing blurred lines, some delays, some heavier energies as those two energies blended. And now, really, you have those out of there, and then we have Jupiter that was retrograde for quite some time as well. And then on the 10th of March, it finally started a direct cycle again. So, given that that's in your second house of finances, that could have helped clear some blockages too, and you might start to see more momentum there in general. But yeah, hopefully that resonated with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.